Go to record. We're gonna go to show opener.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze.
Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Ver, and I am with.
Oh, George. Hey, Dreamer. Medina. I didn't catch it. I failed.
Eep, op, orp, eep, op, orp, eep, op, orp, That means I love you. Come fly with me. Up high with me. Come fly with me. Eep, op, orp means I love you.
All right.
You remember that? Just
Absolutely not.
yo, this
Absolutely
boy,
not.
he's tripping. The Jetsons.
Listen, the Jetsons.
Yeah, beat George Jetson. His boy Elroy. You remember
I
that?
do remember that.
George,
Yes.
well, there was
Where the hell did that song come
there
from?
was what happened was I was in the kitchen singing to my dogs. My dog, can I pet that dog? And for some
Let me ask
reason,
you a question. Did you have coffee today? Any caffeine in your system?
I always have coffee, bro.
Yeah,
so
today
I was
a
like,
little extra. I don't know.
yeah, so
Little
it
worried.
was so the Jetsons.
You do realize that that's 30 seconds of people's lives they will never get back, right?
But you
People
know
are
what?
like,
It's
the
it was the best thing in their lives today because you know what? If you were stressed out and you just watched this episode, you were laughing your butt off and say, "That damn Sam, thank you so much. I needed that laugh."
Oh God, that's hysterical. Anyway, so welcome everybody to another episode of Catch the Craze.
Because we crazy up in here.
221.
Yes.
Episode 221. Today is January the 15th, and I am sitting not with, but whatever, virtually with my very good friend here, Sam Vera, who had a lot of coffee today, was singing happy tunes, cheering everybody up. What's good, my dog?
All good in the hood. It's been crazy. I've been freaking busy. The life of an entrepreneur is rough.
Well, listen, by the time this show would have aired, again, we say this every episode because remember, we record these episodes ahead of time,
Yes.
and then we air them later on. So although today to you out there listening is 1:15,
Yes.
to us recording is not even before Christmas.
Right.
But it's actually a month. Today's the 15th of December, but whatever. Not to confuse anyone. What I do want to say, Sam, is that you, my friend, have ventured into the world of motivational speaking.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Sammy, for those that don't know, and you guys should start learning, has his own
Or should it be?
channel. It is called Are You Crazy Enough?
Are you
on
crazy
YouTube.
enough? Yes.
So I want to take a little time to talk, maybe with about 5 minutes, just to let us know what that is all about. Tell us about the new venture, which you must have now at this point. By the 15th of January, you'll have tons of episodes for people. But tell us what this is about a little bit, please.
So, are you crazy enough? Let me repeat. There it is, logo. I'm gonna put that in here. There it is. Bam. There's the logo. Are you crazy enough? So this is basically, as most of you already know, or if you don't know, now you know, um, my company, I've been working in retail forever, and my company went belly up. And I've always held leadership roles in various capacities. And so they went belly up and they closed, and the 7th was our last day, and that was my last day of employment. So we found out that we were going out of business the 10th of September. So it was that time where I decided to become an entrepreneur and take advantage of what's happening with social distancing and COVID and everything else, and put all of my experience to use for me rather than someone else. And one of the things that I've always been known for is coaching and developing people. And that's what has been the key to my success in retail, and which is why I did so well. And I've always been encouraged to try and go out and either speak or consult. And when I look at those things and I look at the people that do it, it's like, well, these guys, they train for this, they study for this, and they're content experts. Who am I going to go and try to play in that arena?
Yeah.
So it was on my last day where an HR executive said to me, you really should consider doing that. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to give it a shot. What I decided to do is Are You Crazy Enough is me basically sharing my experiences and life lessons in various capacities. So what I'm doing here is I'll identify a theme, whether it's risk taking, whether it's resilience, whether it's courage, and I will basically share stories on how I either demonstrated it effectively or I failed, and what I've learned from it and how it's helped me in the future. And at the same time, Are You Crazy Enough? I will be having guests on the show who have overcome adversity, whether it's bullying, whether it's relocating to the U.S. from another country and having to try to make their lives here, whether it's somebody who struggled with physical handicaps and was able to overcome that and become successful in whatever endeavor they committed to. Entrepreneurs that built everything from the ground up, with people who told them that they couldn't do it, it was impossible. So that's basically what it is. So I have several guests lined up, which is I'm pretty excited about. I mean, I've had people reach out to me already, and that surprised me because I just launched it a couple days ago. Well, here I launched it. Yeah, it'd be a month. But yes, so there will be daily on Instagram, and it's hashtag Are You Crazy Enough on Instagram, and on YouTube it's Are You Crazy Enough, and again it's with 2 E's, not a Y. On Instagram there'll be daily postings on values and lessons that I will share, and I create the content and I put it up there myself. And then on YouTube I'll be posting videos on those subjects. So whenever I post anything on Instagram as an image with some text, there'll be a video associated with it on YouTube.
There you go. Good stuff, man. Yeah, yes. So definitely, guys, go follow Sammy on his new venture. Of course, Catch the Craze isn't going anywhere. This is just something on top of what Sam's got time to do now, because you are free. You have freedom, the freedom to create. And this is, I think it's going to help a lot of people, dude. I think this is a good thing. Do your thing. Congratulations. I'm happy to. I wish we would have known that before, because then we would have been able to talk about it in previous shows. But what happens is when we live in this world of Back to the Future stuff, we aren't in that specific day. Right. So this is something that just happened, which means that the episodes in December all of them haven't aired yet, so we haven't been able to talk about it. But I figured let's shine a little light on it in this episode. But on top of that, we also have something very new to Catch the Craze. The guest today is Keith Dozois.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And usually we have, comic book artists, we have creators, we had a puppeteer not too long ago. Shout out to Mia. But today we have a gentleman who created a game online. And the premise is basically, I've never been to one of these, but these escape rooms with the pandemic and with us not being able to be in small spaces with too many people. I guess he decided to bring that experience online. And so now you can bring home your very own USB escape. So we'll be talking to him about that, which is very interesting. How'd you find this gentleman?
Actually, he reached out to me. So, and that's what's been happening. With social media is a lot of people reaching out now. They're realizing that, Catch the Craze is the place to be if you're a independent, making your own way, and we will highlight you, we would promote you, we'll talk to you, and we really dig it. And so I think people are digging what we do as well, and so it's just the feeling, the respect is there mutually. So keep it coming, guys. Although we have a lot of people lined up, but keep it coming. We want to feature every single one of you.
Absolutely. So we have Keith Dozois coming up, talk to us about that. Our Get Your Meds segment is about digital age. Yep. Speaking of something like what we're talking about here, bringing that experience of going to an escape room home.
Yeah.
Some of the big names, DC announced last month, and I say last month because remember when this show will air, that they were doing a lot of digital things, and a lot of people panicked. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" You actually talked about this on the one of the Crazy in Less Than 10, right?
Yes.
Where you talked a little bit about it. So
yes.
So we'll be discussing that. But yeah, man, I'm excited, dude. I think. Oh, dude, today's the 15th. Yesterday was the 14th. What was yesterday? Our big launch.
Yes.
Kickstarter number 2.
Deuce.
Yesterday.
Word.
Please pledge.
Yes.
Help us reach our goal for the second issue of the Crazies. For those who got the first issue or pledged to the first issue, let us know what you thought. We've heard a lot from you guys already, but here's number 2.
Yes, this is it. It's going to be exciting, and I'm excited about it. The image is on the screen right there, so you'll see has all the information right there. But I think it's time to get your meds, and I'm hoping that this is it.
It's time for your medicine.
It's time for your medicine, Jorge Medina. Hey.
Yo, yes. Get your meds. So the digital age, bro. The digital age. Are we in it? Are we in it right now? Is that what's happening right now?
Yes, I think that was the plan all along. And I think the plan is bigger than us Earthlings.
Speak on that, Sam. What are we talking about here? Talk to me.
So, when you think about assimilation, right? You think of what's happening with virtual, you talk about, autonomy, everything that's happening. If you look at what's happening in Japan, they're creating robotic androids that are actually walking and talking. And I mean, when you think about, what was that movie with Will Smith? iRobot. That's exactly what's happening, right? So several things. Number one, whatever it is, the intention is, it seems like it's intentional to keep everyone. It seems like it's intention. In my opinion, it seems like it's intentional to keep everybody at home, because all of these office spaces are going out of business. Are now they're having people work from home, so it's almost as if you don't want too many eyes on the street. Social distance, because what happens is when you're, it's almost eliminate the prospect of collective gathering groups. You know what I'm saying? And so once you're distant, you limit the ability to socialize, radicalize, right? To build communities around something. So for me, it just seems very suspicious what's happening around in society with all of this and these lockdowns. And I mean, I think I was reading an article where it says, you had all these years where we still haven't found a vaccine for AIDS. We couldn't find a vaccine for all these, but in less than a year, we got a vaccine for COVID. Sounds suspicious, right? So how did we do it in a year? This was part of the process, and I think we're just playing into it. That's just me. Don't shut me down, YouTube. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying it's kind of fishy.
Well, let me tell you something. When I thought of this topic, I thought, comics, digital, and it was a happy-go-lucky. And then you come in and turn it into this, like, listen, man, they're trying to keep us indoor, man. He's like, listen, man, they're trying to keep us indoor, man. But no, hey, listen, dude, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory. Now, let me ask you this, though. Do you think that the pandemic, right? It's real. It's not.
Oh, it's real. The effects are real. You can't front.
Do you think that it was put out there for this purpose?
Yeah, I think it was an experiment. I think when you think about if you look back in time, and a lot of these lectures, and whether it was by Bill Gates or whatever, everyone was planting the seeds of what's to come, training your mind, conditioning you to accept the idea when it does happen. If we don't do this and we have another pandemic, if we don't do this and we have another pandemic. So I think what happens is, globally, people got together saying, what will happen if we did this? Let's see the effects. Boom. Right? That's a way to shut things down immediately. What better way to say your life is at risk, so you need to stay home?
Right.
It's good. I believe that vaccine comes with a chip. That's just me. That now,
Done.
your health is being tracked. Your whereabouts are being tracked. It's because we don't want to be chipped, right? So humans don't want to be chipped. And they started with the animals. Chip your animals so you can track your animals. But then, and that's conditioning us to accept the idea. We didn't want G5. I mean, what is it? G5. And so then all of a sudden, now you need G5 because you're at home and you don't have the bandwidth and you don't have it. So now everybody wants
5G.
I mean, 5G, yeah. So no one wanted it. You've seen all around the world, they were ripping down towers, they were protesting 5G, all this other stuff. Then COVID hits. Now you're at home, homeschooling. You don't have the bandwidth. You don't have the tools. I need G5, 5G. I need 5G, right? So all of, that's it's
fair.
It's all mental conditioning, and I think we just fall victim to it because we don't know any better. That's just me.
Yeah, no, listen, man, fair point. I mean, to me, what you're saying, makes sense. I mean, how else do you control the people? And what is it? Was it Machiavelli that said, it's better to be feared than loved because the fear lasts longer?
Yeah.
And I think that if you're afraid to die, everybody is, right? That's the biggest fear. I mean, I think if you ask people, what are you afraid of? Most people aren't afraid of anything. But people will say they're afraid to die, right? They're afraid to miss out or to have people die. And if this is the way to control that, you control it by fear, why not? Who says that that's not what's going to happen? I just love how we just went into this hole of conspiracies. But dude,
he started it.
When you think about, you think about it, and I don't know where comics are going to go, right? And I'm just going to bring it back to the comics when I'm talking about the digital thing. I don't know that the holding a comic book in your hand is going to go away. Maybe.
I don't think so.
Kids today, dude, little babies can unlock a phone almost and like go through it and YouTube this and YouTube that. So they are used to this. I'm not. I still prefer a comic, but I was born in the late 70s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I know.
Right.
I don't know that comics will go away right away. I mean, the physical copy of the comic book, but I think that it is leaning towards that.
There's a big push to digital. There's a big push to eliminate the norm, the status quo. And the problem is, we are a touchy-feely society. We like mementos. We like things. We like to touch things. I prefer to have a book in my hand. I don't buy a lot of digital. I always get the physical copies. I just love having the book, being able to bookmark, be able to highlight whatever it is. Same as comics, and I think it's a way. Not only that, but it's a way just to be part of something when you go to a comic shop and you feel like, you feel normal and you feel like a kid again. But there's this big push. But I think, when you see what happened with Valiant, they did a motion comic book that they released on YouTube. That cost money,
The motion comics have been out for a while, I feel like,
And the reason why they haven't been, it's because it costs money.
It does.
but they're using that as a way, as a means to promote their physical books. But how much money you spending, because they really did a really good job on their motion comic. They have voiceover actors, and they're really they animated the backgrounds. So that takes a lot of time and effort. But people are. I mean, just like right now, when you think about some of the things, I think it was like corporate offices. No plans for, like, I guess Google's corporate office to open until June next year, or Amazon's, whatever, June next year. So think of that, and now I think about our world.
Well, June this year, but yeah. I know
June
what you mean.
June 2021. Yeah, this year.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, this year. Think about what that does for Comic Cons.
Right.
Big venues. Will we even have that opportunity again this year? Because I don't know how any of these virtual cons were successful. I don't know how they monetize. I think there's a lot of expenditures on their part to get celebrity names and do these things. But how do you monetize it? And how do you got to think about the payroll, the amount of people that you have to put these productions on. But
I think, to me, it when you talk about that on a scale like these big conventions,
right,
you're talking about people who are hired to program, because they're not they aren't using Zoom. I don't think. I think they're using their own.
No, there's a lot of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones
to do it. Right.
Yeah.
They are paying for that. To be able to do that, to customize however they want to do it.
Yes.
This isn't just like, So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of money being spent there. I was obviously, with what happened, late last year, and I'm talking about late last year, but what's happening now is basically with HBO Max and Warner Brothers, and how Warner Brothers has now sent all of their movies for streaming to HBO Max only, specific to HBO, which angered a lot of directors and actors, because now their viewingship is limited to that one streaming service. Now you used to be able to go to the movies, and all over the country, anybody who had $15-$20 can just go to a movie and watch that movie. Now you have to have a subscription to watch that actor or that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of control. I think that there's a lot of control in this digital age that we're living in. It's about control, and it's about
control what you read, control what you consume. They want to have a standard narrative. When you think about, this whole argument about the right versus the left, and all this other stuff, whatever. It's a power struggle, and who can be the most persuasive, and I think this is where your independence and really understanding all sides before you make a judgment call. Same thing. I think in comic books, I think you have to decide, is it worth it? Because I think you have to work 10 times harder if everything goes digital than you did if you were exposed to be able to go out and do events and network and all that stuff, because now you don't have access. So now
people don't have access to you.
Right. So you have to create access. Yeah. And what happens? You're going to try to sell your stuff on Amazon, you're going up against millions. And unless you pay Amazon to promote, nothing's going to get seen. So you have to work so much harder just to get notoriety and just to move your product. That's the problem.
Yeah, because you have to stay relevant, and the only way to stay relevant is YouTube channel. They have a lot of people now have YouTube channels, right? You have your social media. That is controlled.
Yes.
Like the logarithms on a lot of that social media isn't just, I'm gonna post something and everybody's gonna see it. Nah,
right.
Homie.
No.
Not everybody will see it. You have to make sure that people comment. You have to make sure that people like it. You have to make sure people share it. There are a lot of things that have to happen in order for your post to be seen by the amount of people you want that post to be seen.
And if you don't wake up every morning with this in mind, every day, I'm hustling. Right. If you don't wake up with that in mind, I'm telling you, like I went to sleep this morning at 3 a.m. This entrepreneur stuff is for the birds. So I went.
It ain't no 9 to 5.
No, because I'm in. I forget because now that I'm in my own creative space, I lose track of time. I forgot to
yeah.
eat.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I had dinner at 2 a.m. I didn't eat before
You're all messed up.
from 3 in the afternoon. I didn't eat, and so it's because I was so focused on what I was doing in the studio, and I think that's what it is the grind. You have to work that much harder,
Right.
because we're indoors. We're indoors. Tomorrow I'm going to my local comic shop and to talk to the comic owner about getting him on the show and talk about how he's making it through this whole process.
It's tough.
Yeah.
A lot of, I mean, life as we know it is changing right before our eyes, right? Like, think about the kids that are being born into this pandemic. They don't know a world outside of being home with your mom or dad.
Yeah.
Because they're home from work. They don't know about a lot. I don't know how long this is going to last. What if they never know about daycare or mom and dad never leave the house? They're always home. This is just the way it is. I don't know what it's like to, you know what I mean? Go to school.
Yeah.
I just sit in front of a computer and talk to a teacher, you know, on the other side of the screen. And I don't know what it's like to touch other people. Like, it's scary, dude. Like,
Yes.
think about how scary that can get.
And what
bro.
does that
Like,
do? What does that do for depression? What does that do for kids' ability to have a conversation with somebody, a
Social
stranger?
skills.
Social skills.
Yeah, social skills, just basic social skills.
I mean, it's I think about the strain it puts on the homes, because that's you got to talk to the same people all day, every day. You need a break.
Right.
You know what I
Or
mean?
what if you live by yourself?
If you live, it's even worse. It's it's
Right?
like so. It's
It's-
like what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like there's only so much you could do by yourself. You have to, So that's what I think for me, it's like even like with what I'm doing, it's like I have to go and walk the dogs every day to get outside and talk to the neighbors in the neighborhood.
yeah, dude.
I find a reason to go to the supermarket to get something, even if it's for one thing. I was like, I just want to see people. It's like it's one of those things where it's like it's a little scary. But what I recognize is I'm not assuming that 2021 this year is going to be any different than 2020.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm going in and saying, what if it stays the same and social distancing is the way it is and there are no events? What do I need to do differently? What I need to change in my mindset, and what does the hustle look like? Mm-hmm. And that's where I think everyone needs to put themselves in that position to say, what do I have to do differently now? Because you have to work so much harder. You have to work.
Do you push digital copies of your comic?
I will be, but I want to push the physical as well. So the print on demand, So what are the things I'm doing now is converting everything so it can be on was it Indie Planet? Because I didn't have print on demand with any of my books. Everything is digital. Everything is on Barnes and Nobles, or you can get my books digital on Barnes and Nobles or Amazon, and that's not working out much because I refuse to pay those premium advertising costs that they want.
Everything you have to pay for.
Yeah. I was like, I can't. Now I'm eating peanut butter. Stop the nonsense, right? So my lunch is a bag of almonds, and so it's like so what do I have to do to promote that? And that's where grinding in the studio and trying to figure out what does that look like. That's why I'm trying to create as many avenues of multi-channel marketing and communication means to be able to get out to the public. So that way, I think diversifying yourself is critical. I think being part of communities, whether Facebook communities, YouTube communities, Instagram communities. I think you need to start networking with a lot of different people in order to grow. But also remember, you're competing with those people as well. Right? So where's the balance? So it's tough.
Yeah. I think, the silver lining and maybe the positive person in me says, well, what's going to happen is these streaming services are going to need new ideas.
Yeah.
Right. And where are these ideas going to come from? If it's not the independents, you know what I mean? You're not going to have these, these movie houses like Marvel. Marvel's got it. They're doing their thing, and Spider-Man is coming, I think. But I think that a lot of these, like the Hulus of the world, the Netflix, the Prime, they're going to need content. And I think that that's where we come in as small indies. I think that's where we come in. I think that that's what the digital age kind of helps us. If we do it right, if we are serious about our work, we hustle, we finish what we start, and we learn how to push and promote ourselves. I think that there are big things that are out there for us. What happened?
You got spooked.
No, somebody walked
Yeah, I
by.
know. It's like, who that? Who that? He said me. No, I think that is critical. I think it's important. I spend a lot of time thinking, anticipating what's going to change. I'm reading a lot of articles in the industry and what's happening out there, trying to make certain that we're relevant, we're try to be ahead of the game, and be competitive. And I think that's the biggest thing. I look at it as a sport as well. It's a passion, but it's also a sport. Because it's how do you play to win? I'm not playing just to sit on the bench. I don't want to be on the team to sit on the bench and I'm getting a check, but I never get put into the game. So no, I never get to learn or grow because I'm not playing. So I think that's the biggest thing is get on the field and play. And adapt and adjust. Don't put your eggs in one basket and don't assume you know what's happening, because it's.
Well, this is the biggest time. Like if you have a hard time adapting, or if you have a hard time, being that person that, well, I'm too old to do this, I'm too old to learn that.
Yes.
You're done. You're done. If you're that creator that thinks that way, you better have a lot of money in the bank. You better have, people working for you, whether you make them do what you need, but because other than that, you have to learn everything. You got to be able to get on these, Zoom calls or whatever to promote yourself. Have a smartphone that allows you to go on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, Twitch, whatever.
Yeah.
To promote yourself. Because if you live in that, well, that's not for me. I'm not into that. Then you just become irrelevant.
Yes.
So yes.
I'm checking up on our yes.
On Mr. Dozois.
Yeah.
Silence. I like it.
Yeah. Because I did send the Zoom invites. I just want to make sure that everything's good.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Why don't we take a little break, go to commercial, and then come back and just keep chatting.
Chatty Cathy. Let's see.
Do it.
I like it together. Let's see if it works.
You read comics? But do you read indie comics? Do you support indie creators?
Indie creators in the arts.
Indie creators in comics, movies, music?
Well, so do we.
Subscribe to Catch the Craze on YouTube.
And let's support the indie community.
So check the flow, cause you know I got soul. The name is Catch the Craze, baby. So act like you know what's called Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze.
Hello there. Welcome. Can't hear you. That digital age.
Nothing.
Nothing yet.
There we go. This should be better.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Welcome.
Just had to change my
We're
settings.
back. We're back.
We're back.
Yes,
back.
welcome.
I brought the baseball cap so I could be matching you guys.
There you
go.
go. It's like you got the memo. You got the memo. What's going
Yeah,
on,
of
man?
course. I mean, yeah.
What's going? I'm George, by the way. I think
Nice
you know
to finally
Sam.
meet you.
Yes, yes, sir.
Let me
yes, sir.
change my name here. I got
Thank you for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. Okay, yeah, no, hey,
Yeah, there you go.
honestly, like when I came across your guys' show, I was like blown away by like the positivity and the energy
Thank you,
and
man.
just like everything about you guys. I was just like, I got to be on the show.
That's awesome. Dude.
And
Thank you.
I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna have to bug them for a couple months and like yell at them, get them going. And then I was like, guys were like, yeah, come on. And I was like, man, it's too easy. It's too easy.
It's too easy. This should have made me sweat.
Oh man, dude! Sam was telling me about what you're working on. This is really dope. But we definitely obviously want to know about you. So we're gonna ask you questions about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and just let the people know who you are.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm the creator here at USB Escape. So it's a escape room on a USB key. So you order one of these bad boys, show up in the mail, plug it right in your computer. And if you've ever done one of those escape rooms that are in a room, you got 60 minutes to get out. It's very similar to that. It gives you puzzles, gives you a little bit to do. It's a horror-based one, and there's no time limit on it. It's got about 2.5 hours of gameplay. 8 major puzzles, 13 minor puzzles that are hidden throughout it, and a giant meta puzzle at the end. So that's about the game section of things. Myself as a creator, oh man, where to start? Well, I was born in 1990 on a cold winter day. Go there. No, I think I've always been really attracted to puzzles. Anything like if you guys have ever done those logic puzzles where it's like if Timmy buys 3 grapes, and he spends $4 more than Sarah, how many grapes can she afford at this price? Like those type of things.
Right.
I've always been super attracted to those type of puzzles. And when the pandemic hit, I was looking for something to kind of fill my time with, and I'd been kind of playing around with a little bit of ideas about having my own escape room, and I was able to put something together real nice. And it feels like 7 months later, I've got a game that's launched that's awesome. near sold out of the first wave. So
sweet, man. Yeah. And you're doing this on your own? Are you working by yourself, or do you have a team? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so it's the majority of it's me. I do have a lot of people who support, who are there to help. So I do have some actors that have helped out. Actually, one of the actors that I've played that's in the game, she was also did improv with Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyways? I do have an actor who was featured in the film Jumper who was in there. So that old movie that was just like a one and done with Christian Haydenson. So I've got some good support for that. But in terms of if you're DMing the Instagram, you're talking to me. If you're trying to reach me on Twitter, then you're talking to me. If you're if you got a game sent to you and you open the package and there's nothing inside it, that's my fault. So so it's mainly run by me, but which doesn't happen though. That hasn't happened yet. I'm taking abstract answers. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. So where did you actually grow up?
So I'm in the Great White North. I'm in Canada. All right. So got my Canada hat here representing.
There you go.
So yeah, I grew up in a town that's outside of Ontario's capital. Just outside of Toronto, about an hour and a half out of there, in a small town called Peterborough. And and then I had moved out. I've kind of moved around a little bit everywhere, but I grew up in small town Peterborough, and then moved to an even smaller town which had a population of like 200, and that's mainly cows and stuff like that. So.
Nice.
Small town boy, huh?
Small town boy. It's weird when I go on dates and I hold the door open for people. They're like, whoa, what's going on here? People get suspicious of me when I'm nice.
You're not going cow tipping or anything, are you?
Yeah, I've never been cow tipping. I've never done it, and I feel so cheated. You know what? As soon as COVID's done, you guys come see me.
There you go.
Collectively cow tip.
I've been dying to go to Canada, man. I want to check it out. I hear good things about it.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. You know, I love it, but you know, if you're here, you gotta check out where I'm from. We have actually the town that I grew up in has a record for the most number of poutines on their menu in the world. They got some ridiculous like 100. Last time I checked, I think it was 151 different types. So you know,
Wow.
I mean, it's a great place to get fat. So
That's crazy.
That's awesome,
That's
bro.
crazy. So as a kid, what were you into?
As a kid, oh man, these are great questions, man. Yeah, I wasn't expecting all of this. This is wonderful. Hey, this is
No,
why you guys.
we're trying to get to know you, man.
Yeah.
Get to
Yeah,
know
no, I
you,
love
and
it.
Then we'll
I
get
love
to
it.
know the product. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a kid, I mean, I went through all the bumps and bruises as I feel like we all do, you know, trying to find my place. I always kind of found my place. Even at the earliest point with, you know, patterns and stuff like that, I always really liked kind of, you know, trying to make sense of everything. Played a lot of sports, got hit in the head a lot. That was always a lot of fun. You know, Canadian had to play some hockey.
I was gonna ask you, do you play?
Yeah,
hockey?
yeah,
You do, of
yeah. I
course.
definitely
Okay.
play some hockey. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So but I mean, nothing crazy out of the ordinary. My parents are probably the most, like, obviously the most influential, but I think they're probably the coolest people to talk about because I was raised by like this hippie mom who was a bodybuilder who rode a motorcycle.
Wow.
Get out
And
of here.
yeah, like
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so strong female persuasions,
that's what's up.
you know, do things the way you do want to do them kind of thing. And then my dad was a semi-professional football player turned
Nice,
chemist turned firefighter type
Oh.
thing. So
Wow.
you know, I just had amazing influences growing
Yeah,
up,
dude.
and yeah, a lot of love and support, which I mean, anytime you guys are talking to artists, you know, love and support is the best way to stifle creativity. You know, you need that pushback from your parents. Like, you can't do this. This is a waste of time. You know, so nah, I tease. But no, parents were always incredibly supportive. So I just grew up in this really nurturing household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's, you know what? It's funny. I mean, you joke about that, but sometimes it could go either way, right? Like if your parents, and it depends on the person you are, because if your parent says you can't do that, sometimes that kid shuts down and says, you know what, I can't. You're right, Dad.
Right,
I can't do that,
100%.
Mom. I can't. Sometimes that kid though says, no, Mom, I'm gonna do it. No, Dad, I'm gonna show you I can do it. So it can go either way. I personally prefer the nurturing part of it, where it's like, hey man, you know, come on, support and you can do this, and pushing you that way. But I think it could work either way. I feel like you had it more like the hey, come on, you can do this. And I think it opened up your mind to like just being able to just create different things.
100%. I like to, you know, I have in my game, the one thing I really wanted to do, and this has to do with that nurture and support, is that I want there to be a ton more to find if you want to go look for it. So there is a section you can find. If you play around with stuff in the game, if you push against the limits of the game, and I'm not going to give away how you get to it, you can actually be sent like a list of credits. And this is all the people that have supported. And one of the jokes that I have in my list of credits is like, I want to thank my dad for pulling a couple strings, because literally there's one scene in there, you can't even see him. He's pulling a string, which moves something on its own. I mean, I'm not going to give away too much, but so I mean, like, you know, that support there for just being like, hey, you know, hey Dad, can you, I know I'm, you know, I know I'm not a kid anymore, but I just need a little bit of help with this, and can you come and help me, kind of thing. That's always, it's so great to have that. That's there.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah. So now let's talk about what made you decide, hey, I want to create these apps, these games.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so it's not particularly an app. So it's actually a game on a USB stick.
Right.
So when you order it, it shows up in one of these sticks that you plug into your computer. So we're purposely not going digital, at least not yet. But what ended up creating this is like I said, when COVID hit, I needed something a little bit to do. And the first thing I did is I got really into puzzles, and I don't mean jigsaw puzzles. I'm gonna throw a bunch. You're gonna hear a loud noise. I'm pushing stuff off my desk here. The first thing I did was grab some of these puzzles here, and I'm gonna grab some so you can see what I'm talking about. And yeah, as soon as I grab one, you'll see like one of these things here. Take it apart, put it back together.
Yeah.
I went out and I bought every one that I could afford because I was like, hey, this is a great project to do by myself. As soon as I was done everything that I could, and I kind of exhausted all the means of my area. I was like, okay, well, what about escape rooms? And I've always been really into board games, and escape rooms are kind of on the outer edge of board games,
Right.
especially the take-home one. So instead of where a lot of people jump into this industry being huge fans of the in-person escape rooms, this I entered it more from the aspect of the take-home escape room. So I started ordering a couple of those because I can do those by myself. I'm socially distant. I'm kind of stuck in my one area.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just do a bunch of these type of puzzles and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I mean, without throwing anybody under the bus, I did a couple really bad ones. Like bad. And, they were supposed to be hard and they were easy and the puzzles didn't make sense. And, it was just weird. And I was like, nah, I can do better than this. And I don't remember the day I sat down to start, but I do remember being like a month in and being like, oh crap, I've got a couple of puzzles here. And I've got something moving here. Let's see if anybody likes this. So I sent it out to a couple people and they were like, hey, no, you got something here. Like, this is interesting. And I just started putting more and more work around it, and stories started to come from it. And and I just drew on a lot of like experience and background. And like everything from the ground up, I put a lot of work into, and now I have this game that people are really, really seeming to react to. And especially I think this year for the holidays, there's a lot more emphasis on small business. So I think a lot of people know that they're getting a good product, and they know they're getting, when you order from me, you're going to get like, something a little more personalized, and you're not, putting money in a billionaire's pocket kind of thing.
Right.
So I think people are really gravitating towards that.
Yeah, I like the price point, man. You have them at $14.99 on your website, and I think it's a very reasonable price point as far as.
And that's Canadian. So you guys in the States, you guys are, I think you can. I think the dollar trades at a nickel Canadian for a nickel American for about $1. No, it's not that drastic, but yeah, I really wanted to create something that was accessible to as many people as possible.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Were you self-taught?
Yes and no. I mean, I've been very fortunate. My background has been in business, so I've been very fortunate that I can put together a good
Business plan.
I can a business plan and stuff like that too. A lot of things that I've learned along the way as well. I used to work for a nonprofit, and I had to create an entire donation campaign from the ground up. So just really even learning how to organize things in the correct order and not lose track of where you're trying to go has been very influential. But I definitely learned a lot about photo editing, video editing, sound quality, stuff like that. So stuff that I'm sure that you guys are like crazy aware of, like day one stuff for you guys, that was sitting around, messing around with a bunch of different videos and stuff like that. So.
Dude, the website, I was on the website. It's very nice. It's very sleek. Did you work on that? Or obviously you had a lot of input in the website. How did that process of coming up with the design
That is the kindest thing you could say, because you guys are creators as well. You'll understand this. That's probably got to be my biggest point of insecurity. So the fact that you say that is I'm blown away, because I feel like that website is like MySpace circa 2001 kind of thing. So I feel like that website's it's trash, and it's that when that's the first thing I'm going to overhaul in a little bit. But hey, you know what? I really appreciate it. The stuff that's on the website, the content, a lot of the content that's on the website is stuff that's in my area, stuff that photos I've taken, area. So I mean, I'm very hyper conscious not to steal anybody's stuff, so I definitely don't do any of that. But a lot of that stuff is directly things in my area. I'm not sure where you were looking on the website, but that picture of that creepy lady, That's in my
Yeah,
house.
dude.
That's in my house. So
Shit,
you know,
nice.
we found that in the wall. This house is 108 years old or something like that. We
Wow.
found that on a wall with a bunch of old
Dude.
clothing, and we're like, yo, let's keep it. So
For sure, man.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a little bit about the game. So I get your key in the mail. I'm about to put it into my computer. How safe is this thing? For those people who are worried about viruses, how safe
that.
is USB?
So I'm gonna tell you the real answer first, and then I'm gonna hype it up a little bit. I'm the person who receives the USBs. You know, I don't fabricate them myself. I mean, hey, that'd be awesome. But so I mean, I'm plugging them into my computer first, putting the game on them there, and then it's going directly to you. So there's no intermediary part that's going to give you a virus. It's literally no different than buying a USB stick from your local computer store.
Right.
All right. So from a safety perspective, 100% safe. 100%. There's no interaction there. And that is a main reason why I wanted to have it on a USB stick and rather than a digital form or you know, there's other escape rooms that they'll send you a file and you print them off yourself, or they'll send you literal pieces of paper that you use yourself, is because that's what you're told is if you have a USB stick, don't put that into your computer. You don't know where that came from. And I really wanted to utilize a lot of that theming and momentum to push the narrative forward. There's a saying in the escape room industry that never include anything in your game if it doesn't serve the narrative purpose. So, you know, I'm not going to put Santa Claus in my game unless we're talking about Christmas, unless Santa is going to, you know, give you a present at some point. So it's 100% safe. That's the actual answer. The more thematic answer is, man, these USBs are cursed, man. If you put them into your computer, if you accept them into your home, I am not responsible for what happens. You know, you're taking on a whole thing. The nice thing is that it's not just a USB stick. You're also going to get a really cool personalized letter. And because we're a small business, because we're a lot smaller, we can really customize a lot of things because we're not worried about mass producing. So if you're actually ordering a game, there's a section where you can put in information about a friend that you're giving this to, and it can show up at their house. They didn't order it. It's got their name on it.
That's sweet.
And it gives a little story about why that shows up, why you should put it in your computer, and how to do that. The reason for that is because I didn't want to create a game, and these do exist. These are out there, where they say, this is a scary game. You have to trust us. And they put a little picture of a ghost in the corner and they go, boo, you know, that's your scary game. But then they still have a how to play tutorial there, you know? So there's still, you know, I find it pulls you out of it. The whole point of this game is to be as thematic as possible. And there's a lot of trust put in the player to make the obvious logical leaps, you know? There's no tutorial that shows you how to put it in the USB stick in your computer because that's expected as knowledge. There is no wrong way to play the game. I was just in contact with one of the players who was just telling me that they'd finished and was telling me about their experience. And they had started literally on the third puzzle and jumped back to the first one, did the second one, couldn't figure it out, went to fourth, came back to the second one and was able to do it, and they still got the whole experience. So there's no wrong way to play it, so I didn't want to include a tutorial and a how-to and you know, that silliness there, so that you could stay immersed in the experience the whole time.
Gotcha.
So what made you decide to come up with these specific frequently asked questions that you have on your site?
So I love that you guys spend so much time on the website. Like I said, the website is the first thing, my biggest insecurity point. I wanted to create an area that if somebody had no idea what to do, they had a place to go. And those questions were directly drawn from the beta testers that I had. So I had beta testers that I was fortunate enough that were escape room veterans. Like, this is their main thing, you know, where you guys are, you know, you guys are making content. they're doing escape rooms. So I had those people, and the questions they had, I made sure were in the frequently asked questions. And the people who had never done an escape room before and were lost even just thinking about participating in this beta test, I wanted to include their questions in there as well. So those questions were at one point or another, in one form or another, asked of me. But like I said, a really responsive, small business in general. So if you send me a DM and go, hey man, how is this going? Unless it's 3-4 in the morning, I'm probably gonna get back to you pretty soon and be like, hey, thanks for the question and here's how you can help find it. So
Yeah, I like the I'm stuck on what puzzle. What do I do? And quit. So I like the fact that you answered that question. That's what piqued my interest. Like, all right, what made you come up with that question? Thank you for answering that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nah, dude, that's awesome. Well, now this is one, like each key will have one game per key, right? So like,
yes,
you'll have a game. So now are you developing more games?
I am. I'm currently working on season 2. So this is a 3-season chronicle. So the first game the name of the series is the Not Family Chronicles. It's season 1 of 3 that's out right now. Season 2 is being worked on. So season 1 follows the main character Owen Knott after his mother's passed away, and he's selling off the family home. So he's going back to his childhood home where he's dealing with a lot of themes of like grief and childhood trauma and how they play together in kind of the grieving process of losing a loved one, with a horror element over top as well. And it just follows how he's in the process of getting everything packed up for the house, selling the home, and getting everything moved on with his life. The second one follows 6 months later because some pretty mysterious occurrences happened to Owen through season 1. Season 2 follows his sister, Allie Knott, as she's looking into what ended up happening to her brother. Season 3 is going to be a throwback to before the mother passed away and how this whole story came together. So they're all within the same universe,
right?
And the conversations between people are taken in, from emails to each other. So this is a recovered USB with emails on it. So you're having in the first one, you're having a brother and sister, conversating about what's going on, and very obvious logical leaps. You as the audience are discovering what is really going on. So
that's awesome, dude.
So I have a couple questions for you, but first, what was the significance of your branding, your logo? Tell me about that butterfly in the puzzle.
That's so awesome. I mean, hey, you know what? I really appreciate the questions. You guys, I'm surprised. You guys are killing it. I've been on a couple of podcasts already. I've been on a couple of interviews and stuff like that. And like, you guys are the first one to ask about that. So hey, kudos to you guys. We gotta get you guys voted for some sort of award or something. Yeah, no. So that came about through. It's funny enough, I watched a video about how to put together a creepy ARG, which stands for augmented reality game. So it's like an escape room that's a collective group that's doing it, maybe into the 500-600s numbers. They usually collaborate, work together, and they're done online. That's kind of like the thing. Sometimes they have real world elements, but they're just like huge escape rooms essentially. So I was watching a video on how to do this, and it was satirical. And they said, how to do a logo, and they were like, pick an animal and then make it black. And they said, there's your logo. Now call yourself the society or whatever. And so I just watched that video. So I was kind of scrolling through, and I was like, what's really actually so creepy is those moths that have like the skulls and the eyeballs on the back of them to ward off predators. And I was like, okay, I like that. So I just looked up how to draw one of those, put that together. And I was like, well, it has to have a USB element in it. So I put the USB logo in there in bright red so it would stand out, and made it into a circle so that it would fit, with social media really nice. And that was kind of it for a while. And then I was like, hey, wait, hold on a second. Like, we got to make this a little more interesting. So I put the maze in the background, just to make it pop a little more. And and that was it. And it was just like, it was just a combination of different things that were jumping out. So
I think
That's
you
awesome,
really
dude.
did a great job with that branding. And I think sometimes.
one thing I will say though, sorry to interrupt, I apologize, but like a month after I started my thing, this new show on Hulu or maybe it was like Showcase, I don't know, it was on a different, it was one of the Crave or something that I don't have. They have the exact same picture of the butterfly in black, and they put it up. And I was like, "Oh my god, am I gonna get in trouble with this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I no emails from them yet or anything like that, but I have the proof of the day that I made it out, and it was before they launched. So I think I'm good. It's different, but they used the exact same butterfly as me. So
You know what's cool about it too? Like if you look at the wings, it looks like it almost looks like the profile of two people like looking away from each other. It's kind of like weird like that, but
and that's the purpose of those type of moths. Those moths are meant to really mess with your head, and that's how they stay away from predators. Is they look
awesome.
like something scarier than they are. So I really like that about them. So
good job, man.
So then my next question was, when we think about next steps in growth in your evolution in building your business, have you considered taking this and writing it into a graphic novel or a book and taking those stories and creating stories for yourself?
See, I was just hoping that I would meet, people who are illustratedly, expert, had that illustration expertise, and go on their show, sweet talk them a little bit, maybe they like my energy, and no real plans, but but truth be told is that, I mean, the biggest thing is that, I mean, I know you guys as creators understand this as well, is that you just want that first one to hit, and you're just like, I remember before I launched my game, before I launched on November 27th, 2020, this year. And I remember laying up in bed the night before, and I was like, I swear to God, I'm going to have some like choice words at like Christmas dinner with my family if I don't sell one. I'm like, none of you could have made a fake Gmail account and bought a game from me. And I thought I wouldn't sell one. I thought this was done. And I'm sure you guys have had those similar feelings. So especially with that, I don't want to get too much too quick.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, do I want a graphic novel? Oh man, I would push my mom into a big pile of mud to get me one of those. Like that sounds absolutely amazing. But I need to make sure, especially because this is my first one that I've done, and this is taking the small business to try to make it bigger and get more recognition. I don't want somebody to come on my website and be overloaded with stuff and end up choosing nothing. I mean, I have the access to print shirts and masks, and I have that's why my website's got my game and a sticker. And so you buy my logo on a beautiful little sticker, put that right on your water bottle there, put it on your laptop and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like I want to make sure that this grows at the right speed.
Right.
Yeah.
And step one is talking to two amazing people who've got connections in that area.
If you know any, let us know. If you know any two people like that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Hey, and it's hard to find people like that these days. They're all hidden.
Nowhere.
They're quiet.
Nowhere
to be found. But hey, if we find anyone, if anybody listening to this just can comment anybody they know that is into that. Just a fan of that type of stuff. Just just comment down below anybody you suggest.
So now I don't know if you've considered this, but one of the things that I know is a growing trend are games on Kickstarters, raising the funds to.
Absolutely.
And I think you'd be very successful if you launched your own Kickstarter to raise awareness and raise revenue to allow you to do some of those things that you want to do as well.
Absolutely, 100%, and that's a very good point. You're not the first person to have suggested Kickstarter, and Kickstarter is a wonderful platform. I have some friends that are in the board game industry, and they've utilized it with great success. I've purchased things off Kickstarter. I bought too much stuff off Kickstarter, actually. I buy the dumbest thing on Kickstarter, and they show up, and I'm so happy. But so the biggest thing, the reason why I didn't go for the first one is because I didn't need anything.
Right.
I said I will let this I will use what's at my disposal right now. And yes, this may make things more difficult, but I want to get this out and then see what the reaction is. The second one, Kickstarter might be more of an option, but I want to make sure that I have as much for the game. But then when you are getting into Kickstarter, you're essentially a slave to what your backers kind of set you up for. And it's not that I don't want to do that. It's just, what do I need that extra upfront money for? Right. And that's where I think a lot of people try to tend to lose themselves. I have everything I need. This was 100% cost up front. I needed a better microphone. I needed a better camera. I needed a better this, that, and the everything. I needed to make sure that the people that were helping me out were taken care of and that stuff. So, I mean, my loss up front, 100% from a business perspective was crazy. But I went in with that with money that I knew was gone. Like I didn't care about it. Gotcha. All right. Gotcha. And so everything that I've recovered all my costs, which has been nice because I've been able to sell really well. Right. But I knew that if I didn't sell anything, day one, year one, right, that I was still satisfied with something that I've made. When you're on Kickstarter, you're opening. I find a lot of this is for me personally. Right. This is not advice for anybody who's not me. This is for the guy in the mirror. When you open up Kickstarter, you now owe a higher level quality a product that has to be suitable for the person that you're giving it to. And fulfills their vision. Mm-hmm. I wanted something off the hop that supported my vision. I wanted something that was way more bang for your buck than what you could get anywhere else. Because my game's 2.5 hours average gameplay time, where most escape rooms are 60 minutes. I wanted to have something that had a ton of content that you could just spend hours diving into. That's why there's 13 hidden puzzles. You can just get through the 8 puzzles and just, put your hands up and go, I'm out of here. Right. But there's 13 extra puzzles just hidden there. And I wanted all that stuff there, and I wanted to get it out on my timeline. I didn't want to have to rush out a game that didn't work or, was missing something. And I'm so thankful because I did, because one of the last things I realized is that my game works differently on PC than it does on Mac. Just the way that you unlock the answers to the puzzle. Yeah. Was different. So I had to make that adjustment, and I'm so thankful that I was able to do that, because and if I just rushed it out, I'd be getting a bunch of people messaging me, getting this error when I'm trying to answer this question, this problem. Right. So I get to control a lot of this stuff here, and at the end of the day, I get to set the price low, give the content high, and everything's out on my schedule.
Yeah, I was just interested in the whole creative process of the game, right? So how do you come up with the puzzles, the situations, how do you come up with that stuff? Do you sit down with a piece of paper and say, okay, I've never seen that before, let me try that? Or how does that happen? How does that process work?
Absolutely, yeah. So I have a meditation waterfall, about 6 miles from my house. No, I'm just kidding. You nailed it. I got here. I'm going to show you everything that's in this game. These are all the solutions, all the things that work that didn't. There you go. Now you got all the answers. You're all set. Yeah. Somebody somewhere is like screenshotting pausing the video. It's like, wait, hold on. What does it say there? Yeah. So, I mean, it does come a lot of different ways. There is quite a few times where it's like, okay, I've got this idea and I just need to make it work. A lot of times it's just a theme or something that I've seen. So I've drawn a lot from like the horror element. I've drawn a lot from creepypasta. Did you guys grow up with, reading creepypastas or part of that world growing up?
No.
Creepypasta was internet horror stories back in like 2008, 2010. That's when they were about the biggest. So, I mean, there are some famous ones that are worth looking up called like Jeff the Killer, the Russian Sleep Experiments, Ted the Caver. There's a ton of really, really good stuff. Anyways, this is just internet horror stories. And this was about at the same time as, if you guys remember those photos, when you see it, you'll defecate bricks. I don't know what the censorship's like on for you guys, but I'm trying to keep it classy here. So I really drew from a lot of that stuff. And so for me, a lot of it was like, how do I make this photo that I remember from growing up from that era, how do I put this photo that when you see it, it just like, it shocks you, it scares you.
Right.
How do I make that into a puzzle? So that was a big element of it. The other big element that worked was, because I've done a lot of escape rooms, a lot of my wrong answers end up becoming puzzles. So without giving away too much, there was one puzzle where I was like, I had a list of things. It was a list of ingredients. All right. I'm changing it a little bit just to keep it anonymous, but there was a list of ingredients that I had. And I was like, oh, if this said that this ingredient was overserved, then it's got to be negative this much. And if it's underserved, it's got to be positive this much. And then that ended up creating one of the puzzles. Well, the answer to that puzzle wasn't that. The answer to the puzzle was you just read down the side, and that was it. But by getting the answer wrong, you're going to get your own new puzzle that you can create. So, and I mean, I don't want to get too deep. I don't know if it's that deep, but like, I find a lot of that stuff in life is by finding the wrong answers, you end up finding your version of the right answer.
Correct.
So never be afraid to make mistakes. Never be afraid to get the wrong answer, because it's the right answer somewhere else.
Absolutely, dude.
So
I have one final question for you, and then Sam can take over. We like to play what we call the time travel game on the show, right? So we know, us three know that today is December 15th, okay?
Yeah.
This show doesn't air until January 15th. January 15th, what will we be able to get from Keith on the website? Will we have a new game? Will we have anything out there that you want to throw out there and say, hey, today, go get the new whatever? What do you have? Anything? Do you have anything in the works?
You will not be able to get the new game because I'm going to put that much time in the second one. So no,
Sweet.
You will not get the new game. You will be able to grab the game that's out right now. However, you don't even want to wait that long. You're January 15th and you're like, hey man, I need to get some puzzles. I've even bought this game and I've finished it. I put puzzles on my Instagram for free, and these aren't, riddles that I've stolen off of Google. All my puzzles that I put out there are not ones that you'll find in my game. They'll be puzzles so that you can try before you buy, kind of thing. You get to test drive it out. So you've already finished my game, or you've never even heard of USB Escape at all. On my Instagram, usb.escape, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, you go on any of those, you'll find puzzles. So do some of the puzzles on there. They're absolutely free. Comment, to let everybody know how smart you are for solving the puzzles there. And also kind of get a feel for like how I think, how things go. So that if you do the puzzle and it's not for you, don't buy my game. I'm going to be the only person that'll tell you, don't buy my game, if it's not for you. But hey, if you're like digging the type of puzzles and they work the brain the way you want them to, then absolutely, like, maybe take a mosey over to the website, maybe, add to cart.
Yeah, so definitely, man. And sometimes that puzzle may not be for you, but it may be for a buddy of yours. I'd be like, you know what? Jerry would love this. Or Maria would love this.
100%. And I think you touched on something really, really important. And it's really fun. On my Instagram, I have one puzzle in particular. It's hilarious. It is probably the most divisive puzzle. And there's a lot of them that are like this. I've shown it to people and they're like, yeah, I get it. The answer's 5. You can look at it. The answer's 5. It's the one where everybody answers 5. And there's some people who are like, what? What? And I've shown it to smart people who can't get it, and I've shown it to people who, I love them, but they're dumb, and they're like, "This is 5," and so every puzzle doesn't matter if you're the smartest person or the dumbest person. It mixes differently with different people. Certain people are better at certain things than other people, and vice versa. So
Nice. So where can people find you? How can they reach you?
Absolutely. First of all, come to my house about 2 a.m. in the morning. I'll be asleep. Stand by my bed. I love being scared. So just wake me up. Just shake my shoulders.
That's creepy as hell right there.
That's the best way to reach me. Just show up at my house.
Hence, that's why you need the key to escape.
I live in like I said, I live in the countryside, right? So I don't lock my door, so you could totally actually do that. Don't do that. I'm gonna die.
Not over here. I have sharpshooters on my roof.
Real talk. USBescape.com. If you're feeling patriotic and you're one of the Canadian listeners listening to this amazing show, usbescape.ca. If you want to try us out before you make any type of purchases, then usb.escape on Instagram, usbescape on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. But yeah, if you can't find me based off of any of those things, you're not looking. So
There you go. And we will have the links on the show as well. But no, thank you for reaching out to us. We definitely want to follow up with you in 2021, and to see how I'm telling you, you have a gem in your hands, and I can see that going into a lot of different avenues. So much success to you, buddy.
Absolutely. And I once again, I really want to thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I mean, I will admit, I mean, I'm a type of guy who does my research. I looked at everybody who has a show, who's interviewing creators and stuff like that. I was so drawn to your energy, your sincerity, the kindness, your empathy. You guys really have something here. And I mean, you guys know that already. You guys, I mean, 250 plus episodes deep and stuff like that, and way more content than that. You guys really, really are doing something amazing. And, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you, man. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much,
your kind words. We really appreciate you, man. And definitely, man, I just followed you on the site. I'm about to go order my escape room USB escape. So I'm ready.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to hear how you guys enjoy it. Like I said, if you want to make it custom, add a couple lines about you or anything like that, and we'll make it a little bit creepy and stuff like that. So no spoilers, but hey,
And you know what? With social distance, what a great way to spend Christmas than 100%. With this. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, it's a great birthday gift. It's a great party theme. You know,
so I think, group.
Yes,
and the best part is you grab this, you're done with it. Hand it off to your friend.
There you
Hand
go.
it off to your friend, There
you go.
Yeah, and just make sure that when you guys are ordering it, make sure that you look, because PC and Mac are different. Make sure that you're clicking on the right one. I mean, I'd hate for you to plug it in and not be able to play. So,
dude, as you say that, I was clicking the Windows one. I'm like, what am I doing? I got a Mac. I swear to God, as you said that, dude, I'm like, oh snap.
Dude, hey, look, I did my research too. I watch you guys do the show. I just watch the mistakes you guys make. I know which one of the two of you is willing to make a mistake and which one is not going to make a mistake. I won't say who's who. But one of you.
that up.
Yeah. Sam, maybe you got to be the one who's ordered this, man. Just straight out. Just be like, yo, Merry Christmas. I got this for you. Okay.
I know, right? Yeah. Thank you so much again. Have a great holiday season, and much success to you, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on. And I can't wait for this to come out, and I can't wait for me, my mom, my dad, and everybody else to watch this show too. And that's gonna be the one with the 5 million views on it, because I try to show everybody.
Outstanding. And thanks for subscribing too. I saw that today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, man. I wouldn't miss it for anything. Thank you so much, guys. Man. Appreciate it.
Take care, buddy.
Peace. I enjoyed that episode. I mean, there was so much. What I love about
the energy, bro. He's great.
Not only the energy, every step of the process, and I got to move my logo because it's all up in my grill. Every step of the process, he gave a lot of thought to. Every way, from inception to execution. I think, the way he thinks is the way a smart entrepreneur should be thinking. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, just even his perspective on Kickstarter, he was able to articulate the reasons why he felt that wasn't the right avenue for him. So, he has a plan. But, it was funny when I'm listening to him tell the story, I was thinking about it as a novel. I could see it as a Netflix series.
Absolutely. The three, like when he talked about seasons in the game, I was like, yo, dude, that's different, bro. Like, I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be very successful. I see it.
Yeah, no, this is awesome, dude. I don't even know how much I'm paying for this thing because it's in Canadian. But let's do this. Let's get this done.
Let's do this, Brutus.
Let's do this, baby.
Yeah, but that was definitely a great episode. You guys need to go and check him out on IG, on social media. Go to the website, buy the USB. The other question that I had for him was, did he know immediately that he wanted the key to be the shape of the USB? At what point in the development stage did he land on that idea? So, but I guess when this airs on the 15th of January hopefully, people can ask that question and he'll respond. Great episode.
Beautiful episode. Great episode. Thank you, Keith, for being on the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Subscribe. Like the show.
Hit that
Comment
thumbs up
on the show. Oh, that thumbs up there.
Yes.
We will be having next week. We will have another great show. Super Bug Boy comes through
Super Bug
on
Boy.
episode 222.
Yo,
we'll
everybody's
be
just
talking about-
bugging out.
bugging. He's bugging. So he'll be on the show. Check that out. And the Kickstarter's live. Go support the Kickstarter.
It's
order
day 2.
your copy.
This is day 2.
Day 2, yeah, day
Yes.
2. So
Love to know what we are. But
yeah.
so I am.
What if we're funded by then? That'd be nice.
That'd be what? Holla. So I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer, Medina.
Yes, and we are.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquis. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the. What?
Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. This is Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.